The first tournament bracket from the NCAA and its corporate champion, AT&T, and the guy from the Ohio State University. Always great to be with you.
Great to be here with you, and great to see the Buckeyes in the bracket.
Yes. And in the South region, the number 1 overall seed is Virginia taking on UMBC. That's Friday in Charlotte. Let's move on and see Creighton, the number 8 seed, playing Friday against the number 9 seed, Kansas State. That's always a toss-up game.
Always a toss-up, that 8-9. Virginia is dominant as any team in the country this year, deserving of that number 1.
On we move to Thursday in Boise. That's where you will find the Kentucky Wildcats with the number 5 seed taking on Davidson.
There are Wildcats there. And we know the Davidson Wildcats have been giant killers in the past, although this Kentucky team really rounding in the form that young group.
Also on Thursday in Boise, Arizona on the 4 line. They are 27-7 with DeAndre Ayton, one of the great players in America, taking on the Buffalo Bills, who won the MAC at 26-8. Let's move on in the South region. And the rest of the action in the first and second rounds. Thursday in Dallas, that's where you find the Hurricanes of Miami taking on Loyola Chicago, 28-5.
Ernie, if you're looking for a double-digit seed out there, folks, to lock into, the Ramblers are one to take a look at. This is a very good shooting team, balanced scoring as well.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people taking notes when you said that. Also Thursday in Dallas, the Tennessee Volunteers at 25-8 made it to the SEC championship game. They will take on Wright State, 25-9. Wright State, the number 14 seed in the South region. And they know now that they will get the Tennessee Volunteers in round 1. And a delayed reaction. Nevada is the number 7 seed, playing Friday in Nashville against Shaka Smart's Texas Longhorns.
Some folks had Texas on the bubble, but obviously comfortably in. Great job by the Longhorns and Shaka Smart.
And rounding it out in the South, Cincinnati. How deep a run will the Bearcats make? They are 30-4, and they get Georgia State, the number 15 seed. Ron Hunter is back in the tournament. He won't have to use that little scooter anymore.
One of the outstanding coaches and personalities that we've had in the field.
Let's take a look and widen this out. Big picture in the South region. And you had to tell me how the road looks like for the top seed Virginia.
Well, Virginia's been dominant defensively, and I think this is the best offensive unit Tony Bennett has had. They very well could get all the way to San Antonio, but I love what Arizona has shown of late. That's the team that I've got my eye on to perhaps get out of that region.
How about that Kentucky-Arizona would
dangerous
match up
5
right
seed
there? Wow, and Cincinnati, keep an eye on the Bearcats as well. All right, Greg, what you got?
All right, EJ. Thank you and thank everybody else. The next bracket from the NCAA and its corporate champion, Capital One. Seth Davis, to my right, a basketball junkie to his heart, to the core. Let's take a look at the East region. These are first and second round games to be played Thursday and Saturday in Pittsburgh. And right at the top seed, the Villanova Wildcats, their second straight number 1 seed. The Wildcats coming fresh off of a Big East tournament in which they
the suspense is killing them.
I know, it is. Are we there? Are we there?
Up, guys.
Absolutely, they're there. They'll take on the winner of the first round game between LIU, Brooklyn, and Radford. Moving on, the number 8 seed in the East is Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech taking on Alabama, coached by Avery.
That's a fun game. First one to 100 wins, 2 up-tempo teams. The difference, Alabama has Colin Sexton. Tech does not. Bama wins.
All right, now, games from San Diego. West Virginia, the number 5 seed in the East at 24-10, taking on Murray State Racers. Check in at 26-5 on the year. And the Shockers of Wichita State at 25-7. They're the number 4 seed in the East set, and they will take on 13th seed Marshall.
Last year, Greg, Wichita State wins the Missouri Valley. They got a 10 seed. Everybody was mad. They moved to the American, finished in 2nd place. Now they get a 4 seed. That's why they made the move, and it paid off.
All right, let's move on down the bracket now. First and second round games to be played in Dallas, Texas. Number 6 seed Florida Gators at 20-12, and they will take on the winner of the St. Bonaventure UCLA matchup. And you say?
And I say right now that the winner of that Bonaventure UCLA matchup will beat Florida. Florida has good guards. Bonaventure and UCLA both have better guards, and Florida's certainly a little bit weak down low. So one of those teams are going to move on.
Okay, the number 3 seed in the East. the Red Raiders of Texas Tech out of the Big 12, and they will take on Stephen F. Austin.
In Dallas, Texas, how about that game? Texas Tech maybe a little bit underseeded. Their best player, Keenan Evans, missed some games. They lost 4 in a row. They may have won the Big 12 if that hadn't happened.
All right, let's move on to Friday, Sunday games taking place in Detroit. Arkansas's Razorbacks are there, the number 7 seed, and they will meet the Butler Bulldogs, who are checking in at 20-13 on the year. And then rounding out the East region play, the number 2 seed in the East, the Purdue Boilermakers. And they will meet Cal State Fullerton. So let's take a look at the entire bracket now. And as we do that, Seth, where do you see your upset specials happening other than what you just talked about?
Well, first of all, I think this bracket sets up great for Villanova, obviously coming through Boston. I think that Purdue-Arkansas game is going to be very challenging for the Boilermakers. The Razorback, very athletic. They have a freshman center. Everybody remember this name, Daniel Gafford. I think he can guard Isaac Haas. I like Arkansas to go to the Sweet 16. I talked about Texas Tech, Greg. The issue that they had with an injury late, which deflated their record and their seed, I think they will go to the Elite Eight, where they will lose to Villanova, and the Wildcats are going to San Antonio.
Don't hold back. Just be bold.
That's hard for me to be opinionated. But
all right, Seth, when we come back, the rest of the brackets. The tournament bracket from the NCAA and its corporate champion, Coca-Cola. We'll start with first and second round games on Thursday and Saturday in Wichita, Kansas. The Kansas Jayhawks. How often have you seen them at a number 1 seed? It's the 14th time they've been a number 1 seed, and they will take on, in Wichita,
the smart
Penn,
kids.
the Quakers.
Bill Self, what Bill Self has accomplished is amazing. All these years winning that conference, amazing.
Meanwhile, the Quakers, they appear to be ready to face the Kansas Jayhawks. All right, moving on. Seton Hall will be out in Wichita, the number 8 seed in the Midwest. They will take on North Carolina State, the Wolfpack, 21-11 on the year. To first and second round games now on Friday and Sunday out in San Diego, California, and the Clemson Tigers will be there, the number 5 seed. They'll take on New Mexico State, 28 wins on the year.
I got a chance to watch them play last night against an old teammate, Dan Marley. They're better than people think they are.
And the other game in this part of the bracket.
They're definitely not as good as we think. We're amazing. Congratulations to Bryce Brown and all those guys, Jared Harper, Mustafa Heron. Proud of my kids. War Eagle, really proud of those kids.
Had themselves a pretty good year, 25-7, and they will meet the Cougars of the College of Charleston, who are 26-7. So that's the top half of the Midwest. Let's go to first and second round Friday, Sunday games to be played in Detroit, the number 6 seed. The Horned Frogs of TCU and Texas Christian will play the winner of the matchup between Arizona State and Syracuse.
Well, very surprised both of those teams got in, actually, but Jamie Dixon went home, and he's done a fantastic job there.
All right, Michigan State. Michigan State, the number 3 seed in the Midwest. Tom Izzo's team, 29-4, no strangers to the tournament, and they'll take on Bucknell. Bucknell at 25-9.
Michigan State was my preseason number 1. That's a very dangerous team right there.
All right, moving on now to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where first and second round games will be played on Thursday and Saturday. The Rams of Rhode Island will take on Oklahoma.
Listen, Trae Young, first player to ever lead college basketball in scoring and assists. I did not think they deserved to be in the tournament, and they're going to lose to Rhode Island.
All right, meanwhile, here's Duke, the Duke Blue Devils at 26-7 on the year. Mike Krzyzewski with his 34th NCAA tournament appearance. They'll take on Iona, the Gales, at 20-13 out of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. So we take a look overall now at the Midwest Regional. You like Kansas coming out of there? No, you like Duke coming out of there.
I actually like Michigan State.
You like Auburn coming out of there.
Listen, I'm going to pull for my Auburn Tigers, but I like Michigan State in that region. But let me tell you something. Clemson against New Mexico State is a fabulous game. I'm going with the upset. I'm taking New Mexico State. But listen, down here, I'm telling you, Rhode Island and Duke is going to be a fantastic game.
All right, Chuck. Ernie.
All right, thank you. Charles loves each and every facet of that bracket. The final region of the tournament brackets from the NCAA and its corporate champions. More sponsors than this guy, Kenny the Jet Smith. Please give it up for the Jet. In the West region, the number 1 seed, and this is their first number 1 seed in school history. the Musketeers of Xavier, and they will take on the winner of NC Central and Texas Southern, one of those first 4 games. Missouri is the number 8 seed, and there's a question on exactly how the Tigers are going to be faring with one of their stars.
Yeah, if Porter's going to help or hinder. You know, obviously a great player, but hasn't been in the continuity, Ernie, so we'll see if he's able to pick it up over this week, getting ready for the NCAA.
They'll take on the Seminoles of Florida State, the number 9 seed. Ohio State is a number 5 seed at 24-8, and they will take on South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, who have becoming a fixture in the NCAA.
Oh, but they shock people all the time. Ohio State better be ready.
Gonzaga, once again in the tournament, 30-4 for Mark Few. Lost the title game a year ago, and they open up with UNC Greensboro.
Wes Miller, shout out. He's a Tar Heel, too.
Yeah, Wes Miller, the head coach, in their first appearance since 2001. Yeah. And they get the Zags in their opener.
Yes. It's going to be a tough one, but it's going to be fun to be there.
First and second round action Thursday and Saturday in Wichita, Kansas. And Houston, the number 6 seed is
sleeper.
Kelvin Sampson does it again. They got San Diego State.
Yes, they're a sleeper team. They did not lose a game at home, which is actually they were playing at TSU. Didn't play at Houston, but they are a great team, Houston Cougars.
How about the run Michigan made to the Big Ten championship, and they're going to get Montana, number 14 seed in the first round.
Yeah, Michigan is a sleeper team in terms of people kind of forgot about them a little bit, and now they're getting their roll back.
They won the Big Ten tournament for a 2nd straight year. Great numbers on scoring, defense.
Look at them. There it is.
They've won 9 straight. There's a little bit of a satellite delay.
Yeah, that's all right, though.
They're not that chill at this point. Okay. The number 7 seed playing Friday in Charlotte, Texas A&M at 20-12. Taking on Providence. Watch out for Fryer.
My guy Cooley's got them going. He really understands the pace of the game. He's always had great guard play over the years, and no different this year.
And how does it work out that the last game we talk about involves...
Hey, when I say Tar, you say Hill. Tar. All right, that's what a live audience is for, brother.
Yeah, you can work a room. They're going to get Lipscomb in the first round, and Carolina looking to become... a 3rd straight Final Four if they can take it.
And I'll tell you what, if Joel Berry gets them back to the Final Four, he will be our Christian Laettner in terms of being one of the greatest college basketball players at the university.
There's the big board for you, Jet. So take me through it. As you know, Xavier is the number 1 seed, North Carolina the number 2 seed. How do you see this playing out?
Well, we see the heavyweights and we see the guys who get there, but also shout out to teams like North Carolina Central and Texas Southern. Well, Mike Davis has done a great job of getting Texas Southern into that tournament every year, but I still think Houston is the sleeper. Those guys play hard, they play smart, they play together. They are defensive-minded, and they have some great shooters on the perimeter. That's my sleeper team in this bracket.
North Carolina going to San Antonio?
We'll see you there, brother, without Spurs, brother. We'll be right there with our tar boots on. We'll have our boots on. 3 years in a row, Ernie.
We are going to head to a break here. Much more to talk about. Much more analysis. Some big-name coaches will be joining us for interviews. It's all coming up on the 2018 Selection Show on TBS for the very first time. Thanks for being here.